Hey guys, my name is Lauren. I'm going to be showing you guys how I created this really fun, glittery, glam purple eye look using the MŌDA 7-piece Totally Electric Eye Kit. This has honestly been one of my go-to sets from MŌDA lately because it has everything you need to create a complete eye look, including things you didn't know that you needed. I feel like whenever I'm going to do especially a more dramatic eye look, if my brows aren't filled in, it just looks unbalanced. I need them to kind of like frame the eye. And fortunately, this Totally Electric Eye Kit does contain a brow and groomer tool. So I'm going to start out with the groomer side, and I'm just going to brush my brow hairs up into place so that way I can clearly see where the arch of my brow is. And then I'll just go in with the little liner side with some of my product. Start filling in my brows. So now we're on to the fun part, actually creating the eye look. So I'm going to start out with the crease brush, which is the largest brush in the set. And I'm going to go into the shade Cranberry here. And then I'm just gonna start with some light windshield wiper motions to buff this color into the crease of my eye. And this brush is super soft. You don't need to press really hard. Less is usually more with blending. Then I'm gonna take this shade Blood Orange, which is sort of a satin cream color on the same brush, and I'm just going to apply this to the brow bone, which adds a little bit of a subtle highlight. Next, I think I wanna go in with the shade Cabernet, and I'm going to be using the small shader brush from this set. This one is really nice for like packing color on, which is exactly what we're going to be doing. I want to apply some color to the outer corner of my eye. So I'm just going to take this shade and pat it on to the outer corner of my eye. And this is just going to start to create a little dimension for us. This brush is also a really great size because it's not too big, but it's not too small. Like you can definitely cover a decent amount of surface area. But again, I think if you have smaller eyes, you won't have a too difficult time applying the shadow to a precise area of your lid. So now I'm going to go back in with that first crease brush, and I am just taking off some of that excess shadow with a tissue. And I'm going to go back into the first shade I used, Cranberry, and I'm just going to re-intensify and blend. So now I think I'm going to take the shade Punch, which is a really pretty metallic purple, and I'm just going to go in with my finger and I'm going to apply this all over the lid. Alright, so now to add a little more drama, I'm going to take the small shader, and again, I just wiped off a little bit of the excess product on this brush, and I'm now going to go into the shade Raspberry, which is a darker metallic purple, and I'm just going to apply this to the outer corner to deepen things up. And again, I'm using kind of like a patting, swiping motion to press this shadow into the lid. So next we're going to move on to using this guy right here. And honestly, this detail brush may just be my favorite one of the entire set because it can do so many different things. You could use it to highlight your inner corner. You could use it to buff color on the lower lash line. You could use it to deepen up your crease in like a very detailed way. It's basically a little rock star, and I'm intending on using it in all of those ways today. So I'm gonna go into this shade Rose, which is kind of like a metallic duochrome lavender, and I'm just gonna pop that into the inner corner. Then I think just to like amp things up, we have this shade Salud in here, which is like a really bright matte purple, and I'm just gonna take a little bit of this, tap off the excess, and I wanna apply this right to the inner portion of my crease. I think that will just kind of add a fun like little pop of color here. Yeah, that is building up nicely. And again, this offers a lot of precision. And then just again, wiping off my excess, I'm gonna go into the shade Pinot Noir, which is a dark matte purple. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this, and I wanna pop this in the very outermost corner of my eye. This is just to really add that depth and drama. And I'm very, very lightly buffing this on, like super light pressure. Now I'm feeling kind of fun today, so I think I want to take this shade called Grappa, which is kind of almost of like a bright metallic blue. So I'm gonna pick that up now on the detail brush, which again I just kind of quickly cleaned off, and I think I'm gonna smudge this onto the lower lash line as like an extra pop of color. I actually find when I'm buffing color on the lower lash line, it's helpful to look up instead of looking into a mirror. That way you can actually like get the brush really close to your lashes without actually poking yourself in the eye. So now I want to use one of the more, I would say, like underrated, like the underdog product of this brush set is the Glam Topper. These little silicone applicators are the best thing if you want to use these like pressed glitters that are really popular in palettes nowadays. Not only are they less messy because you don't have to stick your finger in the glitter, it's also smaller and much more precise than your finger, which again, if you have small eyes, will be really, really handy. Like you might not want glitter all up into your crease, so this will help you put it exactly where you want it. Now, technically the glitter in this palette, which is the shade Cherry, does have a little bit of binder in it, but I always like to have a little extra insurance with my glitter so I don't get fallout all over my face. So I'm just going to put a little bit of like a sticky primer on my lids first. Just gonna tap that on with my finger. So now I'm gonna go into the glitter, and again, you don't really need to like press hard. You want to be pretty light-handed with this guy because you're going to pick up quite a bit of product. And then I'm just going to swipe it with the applicator onto my lid. We have one last brush in our Totally Electric eye kit to use today, and that is the fine liner brush. This guy is perfect to use with like a gel pot eyeliner, or you could use it with a powdered shadow if you like a softer look. I'm going the gel pot route today because I find this is the best type of liner to use over glitter. If you use one of those like brush tip or felt tip pens over glitter, I feel like it totally junks up the tip, whereas this you can clean off after you use it, which is nice. I'm just gonna kind of swirl the product into my liner so that way it's evenly coating the tip. I like to almost twist it a little bit against the product so that way all the bristles come together to a point. And then I'm gonna go in with, again, short strokes. Trying to do it all in one stroke on the first go is a little dangerous, and I like to start more towards the middle of the eye and not right in the inner corner because you're always gonna apply a little more product wherever you first touch the brush to your face, and you don't want to like glob it all on right in the inner corner. So I usually start more towards the middle and then work my way in towards the inner corner. Another little quick tip about doing liner, I like to usually lay the brush almost sideways against my eye as I'm doing the strokes. That way I can create a nice straight line as opposed to going in like just at the pointed end. Then the bristles can kind of splay a little bit, whereas this way we're laying them down nice and flat. So here is the final look. These brushes, they made this look so easy to do. I really didn't struggle with anything at all. Blending was a piece of cake, and I feel like I was just able to get shadow exactly where I wanted it to go without having to try too hard, which is surprisingly difficult sometimes.